11, holding on to hope. The daughter of a deputy shot 7 times gives us an update on her dad's remarkable recovery. Plus, the Oregon health plan gets hacked, the data they scooped up, and questions about how long officials waited before notifying members. But first,
I was down on the ground and I was unconscious.
Knocked out with a concussion, the survivor of a random attack shares her story as police hope someone can spot the suspect. Good evening, everyone. We begin with breaking news with 3 people dead following a crash between a car and a freight train. This happened just before 8 this evening in Marion County, south of Jervis. The sheriff's office confirms 3 fatalities in that crash, with a 4th person airlifted to the hospital. Keene Road from Manning to Portland Road, that is 99E, was closed for the investigation. We are working to gather more details, and we will update you as they come in. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. And now to that random attack recorded on video near Providence Park. A wake-up call, the survivor says, after she was hit in the head and knocked unconscious. A warning, some of the images here may be disturbing. Let's bring in Catherine Cook, who talked to the victim tonight. Catherine.
David, she says this is not a warning for others to, quote, be aware of their surroundings. She says, frankly, there is no way anyone could have been prepared for what happened to her. What she does want is a clear effort to address a bigger public safety problem that's leaving a lot of people vulnerable.
I definitely have cut lips and definitely this black eye.
Mary Costantino was attacked Friday night.
The weapon that he had was a water bottle.
Blindsided near Southwest 17th and Yamhill.
Left field, just knocked me, and that was it.
It was just before 11. Surveillance video shows Mary and a friend out walking when a man throws a metal water bottle. It hit Mary square in the face, ricocheting 20 feet away. She suffered a concussion and even blacked out.
It seemed a very pointed, focused attack on me out of literally nowhere. And yelling, we thought it was, you know what she did, or, you know what happened, something like that. So I think he was having a psychotic break and I was somebody else in his mind.
Mary is a physician and has experience dealing with trauma, just not her own. When she came to, she called 911 as she and her friend wiped the blood from her face, trying to understand what had just happened.
The physical strength that people have when they're having psychotic breaks or are addicted, it's a surreal strength.
Police released this video and these close-ups, hoping someone will recognize the suspect. For Mary, the whole thing was a reality check.
We have a really big public crisis here. I don't think any of us are safe these days, and I think we don't have long to turn it around. I think we need to stop kind of dabbling in trial programs, and we need to get like real clear that if you are having a psychotic break or you are on drugs, you are not on our streets. And that is not said with a political slant. That's just said as a public safety first.
Here's another look at the suspect. He's described as a white man in his 20s or 30s. He was last seen wearing a dark flannel jacket with a black or darker hood, black shirt with a white logo across the chest area, black pants, and carrying a black backpack. Mary hopes he's caught before this happens to anyone else.
I'm healthy, I'm active. If I had been an elderly person, no way.
In Southwest Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
And we appreciate her speaking up. Developing tonight, the FBI in Portland is looking for more potential victims of an Oregon man accused of kidnapping a woman and locking her up in a makeshift cell in his Klamath Falls home. Federal authorities say the survivor met her captor, identified as Nagasi Zuberi, when he came to Seattle on July 15th and solicited her for sex. Court documents allege Zuberi told the woman he was an undercover police officer, then put her in handcuffs and leg irons and drove her hundreds of miles to his home while sexually assaulting her along the way. Authorities say Zuberi locked the woman in a cinder block cell where she spent several hours before she made a daring escape.
Because of her ability and her survival mindset, this was a screen door. She punched it several times to break the welds, ripped the screen down, and she crawled through a small space to get out of that place because she knew something bad was going to happen to her.
Hours after that escape, authorities tracked Zuberi down and arrested him in Nevada. Since his arrest, detectives say they have tied the suspect to 3 more sexual assaults. They now fear there could be even more victims because he's lived in 10 different states over the last decade. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines, starting with 2 brush fires that broke out today on Hayden Island in the middle of the Columbia. This is video of the most recent fire that burned at least 5 acres between Portland and Vancouver. Firefighters say it was difficult to reach the spot since it sparked in the middle of rush hour. The blaze charred an area with thick brush and did not threaten any buildings. The first fire, by the way, on the island started around 2:15 this morning. Investigators are still looking for hot spots, but are not saying anything about the cause. In Klickitat County, Washington, an update on a Portland woman who was found dead in a creek last October. The county sheriff, his name is Bob Songer, now says he's, quote, 100% sure that 31-year-old Hannah Walker drowned and was not a victim of homicide. Last month, Walker's mother, Aya, told KGW she was frustrated over the sheriff's handling of the case, saying detectives changed it from an active homicide case to inactive without explanation. At a county commissioners meeting on Tuesday, Sheriff Songer said he stands by the medical examiner's finding that Hannah's injuries were accidental.
Coroner's report showing it was a drowning. No indication of homicidal action. It's a sad situation, and I know that eats at her constantly.
The sheriff added that he has had several conversations with Hannah's mother, which he described as accusatory. And police in Woodburn need your help finding a suspect they say attacked another man. They've identified the suspect as 31-year-old Baltazar Lucas Alonso and say he may be trying to leave the state on public transportation. He is accused of attacking a man near West Hayes and 5th Street in Woodburn last Friday. The victim was seriously hurt and taken to the hospital. Lucas Alonso is described as 5'4", 160 pounds, with tattoos on his right shoulder and left forearm. Well, now to an update on the Washington County Sheriff's deputy shot a week ago while serving an eviction notice in Tualatin. We have some remarkable new details that show just what a close call that was. The sheriff's office now reporting Charles Doze was shot a total of 7 times, including twice in the head. Let's go to Alma McCarty now, who talked to the deputy's daughter this afternoon. Alma.
You can imagine, David, what it will take for Deputy Doze to fully recover. He's still in the hospital tonight, but over the last week, Kayla Doze explains progress is promising. Every step forward, a miracle to her and her family.
Although he joined the force later in life, Kayla Doze explains her dad was born to be a deputy.
This is his dream job. This is his identity. Like, there's no other better place for him to be.
Deputy Charles Doze started with the Washington County Sheriff's Office a decade ago.
I trust his skills and I trust his knowledge and I trust his abilities. But of course, just being in this line of duty, you do have fear that you have to work through.
On Wednesday, July 26th, while attempting to serve an eviction notice in Tualatin, Deputy Doze was shot 7 times. Kayla got the call from her brother.
He said, took a deep breath and just said, Dad got shot. And I was like, immediately, where? Because is it on his vest? Because, like, fingers crossed we can get through that. And he said he didn't know, which caused a lot of panic.
Body armor stopped the bullets aimed at his chest, but one shot hit each elbow, breaking both his left and right humerus. The suspect also shot Doze twice in the head.
And my dad was the first one in and immediately got shot. Like, how do you even prepare for that?
With her dad transported to the hospital by helicopter, Kayla and her mom flew in from out of town.
My brother, my mom, and I, we were able to see him, and he actually woke up for us after all of that anesthesia, after getting his left eye removed and all of his teeth, because the bullet went through here behind, out the top of his mouth, and then out through his right side of his jaw.
Over the last week, she says she's seen progress, miracles as she calls them, his ability to speak, how the swelling around his head keeps subsiding, how fellow deputies have rallied around the family in support.
It's just one step after the next. There's just something to be grateful for. I'm just incredibly happy I get to see him and talk to him. It's like, I can't wait till I get out of this bed and I can give you guys a hug, because he just feels so confined and he's an active person. So it's just been difficult for him to rely on others to take care of him.
Kayla calls her dad, Deputy Doze, a fighter.
My dad said he was lying there just saying he knew he had to get out. Time was of the essence. And it's like, he told me, he's like, I had to get back to you guys. it was gut-wrenching to learn that, but I'm just so happy he's even here to tell the story, even if it's hard to hear.
Kayla said her dad had surgery today on his elbows and there's some nerve damage in his left arm. It will take about a year to determine whether he will regain mobility there. Overall, she told me their whole family feels so blessed and so grateful, thanking everyone for their outpouring of love and support. David?
Yeah, the power of family, community, and maybe a little positive thinking too. Alma, really appreciate that update. Thanks so much.